Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Well, Danny Garcia came out and said that he wants to either fight Keith Thurman or he wants to fight Erislandy Lara. Erislandy Lara would give Danny Garcia a title in the third division. The fight would actually happen at 160. But with Keith Thurman, they would fight at 154. It doesn't give him a title or anything like that, but gives him an opportunity to fight some of those demons that have been harbored inside of him since Keith Thurman gave him his first loss. Now, with Danny Garcia just mentioning Keith Thurman's name, I didn't really expect Keith Thurman to say much because he's been reticent the last few months, especially when his name's being thrown around. The most you get out of Keith Thurman is, I'm not a gatekeeper for any of these up-and-coming fighters. But as far as Keith Thurman puffing up his chest and responding to the fighters in a way like, okay, Boots Ennis, you're calling me up? All right, I want to fight you. Okay, Stanley Eunice, I see that you're out there making noise. I want to fight you. Keith Thurman isn't doing that. Okay? When it comes to Spence and Crawford, he wants to fight those guys because of the payday and the fact that he can fight for a title. Would he win those two fights? I just don't think so. Not this Keith Thurman. The Keith Thurman that fought Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, I thought that Keith Thurman beats everybody, in my opinion. Okay? But this Keith Thurman, no, it's not the case. So I was very surprised when Keith Thurman went on an interview today and was saying how if Danny Garcia wants to fight, he can get it. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I know that they made fun of Danny Garcia as far as cherry-picking opponents back in the day, but is Keith Thurman doing a little cherry-picking? Because he didn't mention anything about Ennis. You know, and that's the fight to be made, to be honest with you, in my opinion. You know, you got the up-and-coming lion and the old lion. Yo, give that young guy a shot, man. Keith Thurman can still fight. Keith Thurman still has heavy hands. And Keith Thurman, if he was to fight Boots Ennis, would put himself through a serious training camp, arduous training camp. And I think we would see the best Keith Thurman that we've seen in the last, like 4 to 5 years. I'm not going to say vintage Keith Thurman, but we're going to be damn close. But would he beat Boots Ennis? Some people say yes, some say no. I say we won't know until we see. But if I have to go off of, his Keith Thurman's, performances against Barrios, against the Riverside Rocky, I'm seeing his damn face, but you know who I'm talking about, and Manny Pacquiao, I'd have to say, I don't know, man, because Boots Ennis, right? Boots Ennis obviously hits hard. When I watch Boots fight, he does some amazing stuff, but he obviously hits extremely hard. He's very talented, has a high IQ. But the thing is, Boots Ennis gets hit. He gets hit. He gets hit. Now, if Keith Thurman was to land one of them hard shots on Boots Ennis, how would Boots Ennis react? See, that's the question. So, although I feel Boots Ennis would win that fight, I wouldn't bet on that. Because we haven't seen Boots Ennis in there with a guy like Keith Thurman who's a winner. Keith Thurman sees himself as a winner, and he's there to fight. Everyone Keith Thurman fights, he hurts. Everyone. Okay? Yeah, it's been a while since he's been one time and got somebody out of there, but everyone he fights, he hurts. So if he was to fight Boots Ennis, why would I not, predict him to hurt Boots? Now, when we look at Boots Ennis' record, I don't have his pulled up. What's it like? 29 fights and like 26 KOs or something crazy like that. 25 something ridiculous, right? Everyone Boots has fought. He's won every round since he's been a fighter. And he's knocked out, it's like he has a super high knockout percentage. So let's just say he's knocked out just about everybody, right? So if Boots Ennis is getting out there, winning every round and knocking out just about everybody, why would I not predict him getting in there with Keith Thurman winning every round, and probably knocking Keith Thurman out at some point. And the thing about this is, I think he would knock Keith Thurman out with a shot to the head. I don't even think it would be to the body, although I know he could. But I think it'd be a shot to the head. He would knock Keith Thurman out. But it's just one of those things where I understand right now everybody's riding the Boots Ennis wave. I get it. But we got to be real now. Keith Thurman, he ain't cold yet. He may be getting a little old, but he ain't cold. He still got a pulse. He still got warm blood running through his veins. And with a guy like that, it's always a chance. But you got to favor the younger, more active fighter, okay? But back on Garcia, Thurman went out there to say that he would take the Garcia fight, send the contract. But this is the reason why. Thurman said that he feels a lot of fighters who don't want to cut weight down to the weight division that they're known for fighting in particular Danny Garcia, 147. He said he feels it has a lot to do with just being lazy. Because, melting that weight off is hard. It is hard, you know what I'm saying? It takes a special fighter, a special mentality, a special team, a special kind of discipline to get off like the last half a pound, 1 pound, even 5 pounds when there's no fat. There's absolutely nothing left to give. And they give water weight, they give whatever it is that they can somehow manage to get 5 pounds off the scale, whatever it is they got to do, whether they lose all the weight they possibly can, then have to strip down, butt naked to get on the scale. Well, I mean, that's just crazy, okay? But Thurman feels that, you know what? Danny Garcia could have kept fighting at 147. He just got a little bit lazy. But this is the uniqueness to what Keith Thurman said. Keith Thurman says he walks around about 172. He's down now to about 165. And he's trying to cut his weight down some more. Let me tell you, Keith Thurman is going to come back and fight Danny Garcia in the rematch at 154. Because just like Keith Thurman said, for these guys who getting lazy, trying to cut down, not wanting to cut down to 147, Keith Thurman's talking about himself. He doesn't want to cut down to 147. That's something I don't know if some of you guys realize this, but some don't. Some of these guys who fight at 147 walk around at 180, 190. And they're not a bad 180, 190 pounds. I think they're aesthetically pleasing to the eye, However, that's a lot of weight to cut. Now, I'm going to point something out. When Sean Porter was fighting as an amateur, Sean Porter fought at, I don't know if it was light heavyweight or 168 pounds. But Sean Porter fought at a much heavier weight. He became a professional and decided to fight at 147. Now, Sean Porter's only like 5'7". So could you imagine the whole amateur career, he fought heavy, like 168, 175, something like that. Something like that, right? Because he fought Usyk, he fought Andre, he fought some big guys. So I think it was like 160 to 175, 160, 168, something like that. But he decided to come down. He may not have been 175, but 160 to 168. But he came down as a professional. He decided to cut down to 147. So that just tells you what some of these guys put themselves through to give themselves the best chance at winning a championship in the weight division. But for Keith Thurman, him getting to 147 is hard too. So when you look at it, it's 154, 160 is probably the more comfortable weight division for them as far as what they have to put themselves through to get there. But it's probably not the most going to provide the most reward because they're going to be fighting at 154, 160, where they walk around at 170 against guys who walk around at 200 pounds. So when you got power like those guys, they will always somehow do well, but they're not going to be the elite of that division. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on record. Danny Garcia is a special fighter. Keith Thurman, we'll just say he still is a special fighter. Sean Paul retired, but he's still a special fighter if he decided to come back. those guys could go up to 154, 160, and they could survive. But they would not be elite, okay? Because they're just too small, man. All right? But I think they would do fine. I think they would win most of their fights, but against the elite fighters in those weight classes, I don't care how much power they have. They're not, De La Hoya. They're not going to go up there and just dominate. It's just not going to happen. And I believe that. I truly, truly believe that. They're just not going to get up there and dominate. But I will say this. They will do a much better than a guy like Paulie Malignaggi trying to go up to 154. He never did it because he was getting his ass clipped at 147. Adrian Broner would never make it at 154 because he's getting clipped at 147. So you see, these guys are special fighters who can get up there and they can survive. Plus, they have, outstanding boxing IQ. Danny Garcia, which we already knew that, but he showed it this weekend that he has outstanding boxing IQ. And what you saw in Danny Garcia this weekend and what's his name, Benavidez, that was Cotto Margarito. That's all that was. The guy, Cotto, is known for walking people down, knocking them out. He got in there against someone bigger, maybe a little bit stronger, and he started boxing, was looking magnificent. In that first fight, until, Margarito cheated, eventually wore him down. In the second fight, Cotto just looked spectacular boxing him. The referee saved his ass, though, just keeping it real because Margarito was starting to come on. The referee stopped that fight because Cotto was getting tired. But I say all that to say this. Expect a rematch between Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia to happen this year. There's nothing stopping it. Nothing to make Keith Thurman apprehensive about getting in the ring. But I would give Garcia a chance for the upset. You know why? Because Keith Thurman is super confident to beat Danny Garcia. But at the same time, you can't fault him because Danny Garcia's his feet are just super heavy. And again, he looks so simple in the ring, but there's something special about him. But Keith Thurman just seems to have a bit more agility. Keith Thurman still isn't standing in front of you, but he slowed a bit. So you have to give Danny Garcia a chance to get to him more than last time because that Keith Thurman that Danny Garcia fought was a super special fighter. Even he said that. That was a different Keith Thurman than this Keith Thurman today. And I'm going to leave you guys with that, man. But one thing I wanted to point out just before I conclude this video is when Garcia and Thurman fought, the final punch stat report, okay, as far as the total jabs, it was for Garcia, he landed 41 of 212 for 19% of his jabs. And his power punches were 89 of 222. So he landed 40% of his jabs, power punches. Keith Thurman, on the other hand, he landed 45 of 295 jabs. So he landed 4 more jabs than Garcia for 15%. Garcia landed 41, Keith Thurman landed 45. For power punches, Danny Garcia landed 89, Keith Thurman landed 102 or 275. So Keith Thurman outlanded him. Okay, so for total punches, Garcia was 130 of 434. Keith Thurman was 147 of 570. So Keith Thurman landed more, and that's why he got the fight. But it was a very, very close fight. Very close fight. So just wanted to throw that out there to you guys, man. So if they were to get in the ring again, now that Keith Thurman slowed, Garcia look a little bit slower too. I could see the stat report, punch stat report, kind of resembling the punch stat report when they first fought. I can't see it being too much different. I still see Thurman being more active, throwing more shots, landing more. Garcia probably, getting to Keith Thurman, landing probably the harder shots. But I just see Keith Thurman just, landing more shots and getting the decision. But then again, anything can happen. This is boxing. But Keith Thurman wants no parts of Boots Ennis, won't even mention his name. But he's looking to go after the easy kill. And that easy kill could backfire on him. But that being said, appreciate your support. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. What is Keith Thurman going to do? What's going to happen with Boots Ennis? Word all around town is Boots Ennis could be Thurman or Stan Eunice, but Thurman's going to weasel his way out of it. He's not obligated to fight Boots Ennis. but it could be Stan Eunice and what's his name, Boots. That's the rumor being swirled around. I'm gonna do a video on that to catch y'all up on it, but that's the rumor that I got today. And if that's gonna happen, expect fireworks. But Stan Eunice does get hit a lot, so I think this is an easy fight for Boots. But anything can happen because Stan Eunice is one of my favorite fighters. He comes to fight. But that being said, y'all keep cool, and as always, I'm in the breeze.